Hey folks, Ryan Kennedy here. Welcome back to the show. I am really excited about today's topic because it's so important and oftentimes not prioritized the way it should be. And that's the topic of morning routines. The way we start the day is going to determine how we feel the rest of the day. And not only that, it's also going to determine how we sleep that night. It's going to determine many factors to our day-to-day, existence. And it's a really simple thing to just mix in a few key practices that are simple, time efficient, but that bring you more energy and vitality so you can really crush your day. Unfortunately, most folks tend to start their day with coffee. That's like first things first, got to get your coffee in. And their phone, whether they're on social media, email, checking out articles, whatever it is, they're doing coffee and cell phone. And I'm going to kind of change the paradigm today, folks. I'm going to bring in some ideas and strategies that I found personally to be so freaking incredible and that I've used with hundreds, actually thousands of patients, students, and people in my community over the years to really amplify not only their health and their biology, but also just how they feel during the day. Not feeling subpar, not feeling fatigue, avoiding the brain fog, all that stuff. It really goes so long to start your day off right. And when you start with caffeine before you have anything else, it really jacks up your energy levels and you get the afternoon crash, and then you feel like you need to keep re-upping on coffee the whole day, and it's just a mess. So we're going to go over some quick wins that you can do during your morning routine that are going to build momentum. They're also going to build self-confidence, and they're going to carry you through your busy day so that you can perform at your peak. So a few essential strategies, and I want to preface this by saying there's going to be some variability based on you, based on your environment and where you live in the world. And, there's obviously going to be some tweaks that you need to make, but I'm going to go over some strategies that apply to literally everyone. These are just good practices to start your day if you are a human. So first things first, hydration. We lose over a pound of water overnight while we're asleep just through respiration. So when we wake up, we're already in a very mild state of dehydration. So we want to hydrate ourselves. What this is going to do is it's going to get our energy going. It's going to upregulate our metabolism. It's going to get our bowels going so we can have a nice morning elimination. It's also going to just help us from getting any headache or brain fog or suboptimal function due to dehydration. Every cell, organ, and tissue in our bodies requires water to function properly. So we want to hydrate first thing in the morning. So most of the time people ask how much? Well, it depends on your body weight and a number of other factors like the climate you live in, your activity level, and a whole bunch of other things. But in general, a very general rule of thumb, I tell people drink at least 1 ounce for every 10 pounds of body weight first thing in the morning. So if you weigh 150 pounds, have at least 15 ounces of water. If you weigh 200 pounds, have at least 20 ounces of water. You could do the math. And that's going to really ensure that you're getting some adequate water. And it's also important to note on this topic that water is just one part of the equation. We also need the minerals, trace minerals, and electrolytes for our cells to utilize that H2O. So I really recommend a product of liquid trace minerals that you add to your water, which is going to increase the hydration benefits you receive, as well as bringing an overall incredible benefit to increasing the electrical conductivity of your cells. And in order for us to really have good energy, we need minerals. It's immensely important for our mitochondria, among many other issues. So 2 products I really like. One is called Aussie Minerals. The other one is called Concern Trace, and that one is made by Trace Mineral Research. No affiliation with either of those companies. They're just what I use personally. They're what I recommend. And I just add, a good 10 drops of those into my morning water. Really amplifies the hydration. You could also add a little pinch of sea salt if you decide, unrefined like Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. And you can also even add some fresh squeezed lemon or lime. Those are kind of bonuses just to amplify the benefits of that morning water. But really, really key, before you have any coffee, before you ingest anything else, have some water. The next thing is morning sunlight. By stepping outside into the morning sunlight, you anchor your circadian rhythm, your biological clock, and the light triggers to your brain that it's daytime. What happens is the light comes right into our eyes, activates a part of our brain called the hypothalamus that triggers to our brain that it's daytime. We're no longer hibernating. Let's start upregulating our energy producing mechanisms. It causes your body to start burning fat, boosting your mood and your mental state, releasing various hormones and chemicals and neurotransmitters that just provide this widespread benefit. And by anchoring your circadian rhythm like this, by stepping outside in the morning and looking at the sun while it's at a low solar angle, so don't stare straight at the sun, you don't want to damage your eyes, and you don't have to. You just have to be outside. You don't even need the sun to be hitting you. It's great if it is, but you could be in indirect sunlight and still be getting a lot of these benefits. The main thing that you need to focus on, though, is going outside. Window glass blocks a lot of these beneficial spectrums, and you get a small fraction of the amount of light intensity and light spectrum that you want compared to going outside. So step outside, get that morning sun. 10 minutes in that morning light right when you wake up while you're drinking your water is a great time minimum. Doing more is ideal, like in the 30 to 60 minute range. And again, while it's at a low solar angle, so we're talking, within 1 to 2 hours after sunrise, with the optimal time being right at sunrise. And then if you wake up before the sun or you live in a cold climate, using a bright light therapy device with 10,000 lux can be a suitable alternative, although natural sunlight is always ideal. So that's going to be really, really key. In addition to hydration, you grab your water, you step outside, you're getting your natural sunlight. The third component to this practice, or this morning routine rather, is a mindfulness practice. So I urge you to use this time, like I said, at least 10 minutes while you're out in the morning light, drinking your water. Use this time to implement a mindfulness practice. Breath work and meditation are my two favorites, but journaling would also be fine. Those are all fantastic options, but something that kind of anchors you mentally, that gets you in the right headspace, because you're working on the physical with the hydration and the sun exposure. Now you need to work on the mental and the emotional and the spiritual, and that's what a mindfulness practice will do for you. And it'll just basically really bring more efficiency to this process, because I'm a huge fan of habit stacking. So if you're following me, within this first 10 minutes since you've woken up, we got your water, we got your sunlight, and now you do the mindfulness practice while you're outside drinking your water. So you're hitting all three of these components all at the same time. And so that's a really good way to kind of mix it in a way that's time efficient. You don't have to spend an hour or two on your morning routine. Keep it to something that's going to be sustainable for you. Now, after you've done this, what I would call the core foundation of mindfulness, sunshine, hydration. Those are like the core. That's the first 5 to 10 minutes. And of course, you could do it for 15, 20, even 30 minutes if you'd like to do a longer meditation practice. But after you've hit those main pillars, I'm a huge proponent then, after you've drank your water, you're already hydrated, you've hit the bathroom, done any personal care, hygiene stuff, brush your teeth, all that good stuff, is to couple movement with a little bit of caffeine. So now that you're hydrated well, you've gotten your morning light, you performed your mindfulness practice, this is a great time to grab a cup of organic coffee or herbal tea. My favorite organic herbal tea is yerba mate. I find it's way better than coffee when it comes to stable energy levels due to some of the compounds in it, like theobromine and L-theanine, that help to mellow out the caffeine so it doesn't cause as big of a stress on your central nervous system and adrenal glands. But whatever your cup of choice of caffeinated beverages, whether it's tea or coffee, just make sure it's organic. You grab that and you do some movement. The caffeine in the coffee or tea coupled with movement in a fasted state, because you haven't eaten breakfast yet, is one of the best combos for burning fat and boosting energy. So you can keep your morning movement low intensity, going for a walk in the sunshine, absolutely perfect. Going for a nice bike ride, maybe doing a little paddle, that's one of my favorites, to get out on my stand-up paddleboard. Or you could use this time for your actual workout for the day. You could do some high intensity exercise, some resistance training, some interval training, whatever it is that you want to do that day. If that's the only time you have to do it, knock it out. And that's really going to be super powerful. I like the low intensity movement with caffeine, so going for a walk in the sunshine as my number one option. And doing it for as little as 15 or 20 minutes is all you need. Now, longer is even better. Going for 30 to 60 minutes is awesome, but all you need is 15 to 20 minutes to reap those fat burning benefits and to reap all of the other benefits it's associated with this practice. And then feel free to stack in other habits beyond what I'm mentioning. I'm trying to give you what I found to be the most effective. So the hydration, the morning sunlight, and the mindfulness practice as your core foundation. And then moving on from there, doing some sort of movement coupled with a little caffeine. And then if you really want to optimize the trio, finish with a little cold shower. Cold shower, cold plunge if you have access to it, to jump in a lake, jump in the ocean, or if you have a cold plunge at your house. That is really going to optimize your mitochondria for energy production, your fat burning hormones to maintain a good body composition, or to lose weight if that's your goal. And so that's going to be a really good way for you to kind of get the day started right there. And everything I mentioned, you got the 10 minutes for the first trio, morning sunlight, hydration, and mindfulness. And then you have anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes for that next one of exercise, caffeine, and finishing with cold. And your day is going to be incredible. I urge you to give this a shot. Go at it with an open mind. You will be blown away by how big of a difference this makes. And it's really a compound effect. So as you do this day in and day out, over the course of weeks and months and years, it's only going to add to how good you feel and how good you perform. So a couple things to avoid, again, just as a recap: avoid social media, avoid emails, just stay off your phone for the most part. And then just don't be answering other people's agendas. This is your time. You need to start the day with 30 to 40 minutes of self-care for you to prime yourself so that when you do start helping others, doing your work, whatever that is, you're really showing up as the best person you can be. You're showing up in the optimal way. And one last thing I'll close on is don't neglect the value of gratitude in the morning. Many of us wake up and we dread the day. We have this long list of to-dos, stress at work, family obligations, whatever it is. It can really leave you feeling kind of bogged down. But understand, tomorrow is never promised to any of us. Just remember what a blessing it is to be alive and well, how good life really is, and the fact that there's millions, if not billions, of people out in the world that would love to be in your shoes, regardless of your long to-do list and your stress and whatever else. You got it pretty good. If you're listening to this podcast and you have a smartphone and you're better off than a large percentage of the world. So remember what a blessing it is to be alive. I'll leave you with this quote. When you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius, great Stoic philosopher. Thanks for listening in, everyone. That's all I got for you today. Hope you dial in your morning routine. Connect with me on social media on Instagram at Ryan C. Kennedy. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from this podcast episode, and send over any questions for our community Q&As that I'll be doing weekly. And just want to say I appreciate you. Crush the day. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can find the show notes and resources we discussed at ryankennedyshow.com. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Much love, everyone.